Hey everyone! In this video today, I want to show you guys how to make this really cool sort of shadowy diamond friendship bracelet. This bracelet does use forward backward and backward forward knots, which I would say is a little bit of a step up from a beginner level bracelet. So if you don't know how to make those knots, then I definitely recommend making sure you have that practiced well. But even with that being said, this pattern is still really easy to make and super fun as well with the sort of alternating colors, and depending on what scheme you want to use, it'll turn out really awesome. So if you want to learn how to make this super unique design, then keep on watching. So for this bracelet, you are going to need two colors as well as your black and white outline and shadowy strands. For your black and white strands, you will only need 2 of those, and then for your 2 colors, you will need 4 strands. For this bracelet, I did a threaded loop and then I made a square knot so that way I could have all my strings be together and I could separate them on the sides that I need them to be. But this is a completely optional thing. People always ask me how to start a friendship bracelet, but that is purely an aesthetic thing. You can easily just tie a knot and start up the bracelet and it's completely fine. Or you can have ties on the end if you don't want to have a loop. It's completely your preference. You can start it however you want to. Now as far as measuring goes, I don't really measure my strings, so it's hard to give you an accurate number, but I will say, looking at the pattern, obviously you will want your black and white strings to be a lot longer than your colors because they're going to get used quite a bit. But if you want to be on the safe side, most people say to measure 40 inches for your strings. Now for the order of your strands, you are going to want your 2 white strands in the middle, and then from the middle outwards you'll have your black strands, and then one side is going to be one of your colors and then the other side is going to be the other color. And I say it this way because we are going to start off the pattern doing an inverse chevron. Now even without a shape start, this is completely possible, and I will explain how as we go through the pattern. And obviously your strings are going to get a little messy up here with your loop, but it's still completely doable making the knots. So for the first step, take your middle 2 white strands and just make a forward knot with them. And first we're going to start on the right side, so we'll take our right strand of the 2, and you're going to do forward knots across all of the strands to the right of it. So we're going to pick up our black strand first, do a forward knot onto it, and then, doesn't matter what order these strands go in, since they're all the same color, just knot along the strands until you have the white string onto the outermost right side. So here is the key to making an inverse chevron when you don't have any sort of shape start. When you are making your knots, you want to knot intentionally in that sort of upside down V shape. So that means you don't want to knot too tight. You want to intentionally knot in this slant. That is something that I totally forgot to mention in my simple diamond tutorial that totally blew up. And I got a lot of flack for that because people were like, oh, it's in a straight line. Well, yeah, when you try and knot all the way to the top, that is gonna happen, but the pattern will still straighten out anyway. But when you intentionally knot in this slant and even push the knots where you need them to go, it's going to help form that so much quicker and easier. And now we're gonna do the same thing on the left side, so pick up your other white strand in the middle, and first you will do a backward knot onto the black strand to the left of it. And then you will start making your knots along your other color. It is still not pretty in the slightest when you do it this way, but I'm just trying to show you guys that it is possible to make bracelets without a shaped start, because 10 years ago, when I first started making bracelets, we didn't have fancy starts or anything like that. So it looks ugly for now. If it looks ugly for you too, that's totally fine. As we make more knots, it'll fix itself. So next we are going to come back to the middle and pick up our black strands. And we are going to make an inverse chevron with these strands, but we are not going to knot onto the white strands. So if it's easier for you, just put them out of the way. So first, make a forward knot with your 2 black strands. And then with the right strand of our middle 2, make forward knots along all 4 of the strings to the right of it. And then come back to your other black strand in the middle here and do backward knots along the 4 strings to the left of it. And you can see that it still goes out into a straight line here. It's kind of unavoidable, unfortunately. And now we can finally start our center diamond. So I am going to start on the diamond that is in the middle of the pattern, just because it's completely there and easy to see. First, we are going to take our first strand in line with our color on the right side, closest to the middle, and we are going to do backward knots onto the next 3 strings to the left of it, and then on the 4th one here we will do a backward forward knot. And then we're going to pick up the next strand in line on the right side and do a backward knot onto the string to the left of it. And then put that leading strand off to the side, pick up the next color, do a backward knot again onto this other colored strand. And put that off to the side, and then we'll pick up the last color on the right side, and this time we're going to do a backward forward knot onto the strand to the left of it. And now we're going to come to the center of the diamond here. You are going to take the strand of your left color that is in pretty much in the middle here, and it's going to be with the other color. You're going to take this strand and do a forward knot onto the string to the right of it. And then move over to the left where you have your next left colored strand and do a forward backward knot onto the same string that we just knotted onto. And then we're going to come back to the middle again, where we have our left strand that we knotted with previously. And you are going to do a forward backward knot onto the string to the right of it. And then on the string to the left, we are going to do a backward knot. Take the string that's on the left side and do a forward knot onto the string. And then you'll pick up the next string that is to the left of it, do another forward knot. And then we're going to come back all the way to the left side where our right side strand is. And we are going to do forward knots onto the next 3 strings to the right of it. And that is the diamond completed. You're going to take your outermost left and right white strands and you're going to do basically a chevron. So on the left side, take your outermost left strand and just do forward knots onto the black string and then onto the 4 strands of the left color. On the right side, take your outermost right strand, do a backward knot onto the black strand, and then onto the rest of the strands to the left of it, which will be these 4 colors. And then you will join these middle 2 strands with a forward knot. And for the next step, we are going to come back to our outermost left and right side, and we are going to bring our black strands towards the middle, but we are not going to make knots onto the middle 2 white strands. So on the left side, just do your forward knots onto all of your left colored strands here. And while we're on the left side here, we're going to go ahead and work on the sort of triangle section that's on the left side. So you'll take your outermost left strand and just do forward knots onto the next 3 strings. And then come back to your outermost left side, take the strand and just do forward knots onto the next 2 strands to the right of it. And then one more time, come back to your outermost left strand and do a forward knot just onto the 1 strand to the right of it. And when I have knotting structures like this here, I kind of like to take this outermost left strand and press down on the top here and just kind of pull it outward so that way it goes down in a straight line. And then as you work up the bracelet, it won't curve in, it'll just kind of stay in a straight line and be a lot easier to deal with. So now we're going to come over to our left side and repeat the same steps but mirror them. So take your outermost right strand, which will be your black strand, and just do backward knots onto the next 4 strings to the left of it here. And then go to your outermost right strand and do backward knots onto the next 3 strands to the left of it. And then come back to your outermost right strand, and this time just do 2 backward knots. And then finally, take your newest outermost right strand and just do 1 backward knot. And again, hold on to your outermost right strand and sort of pull on it, so that way you can straighten out the edge here. And now we are going to open up the pattern for the next diamond. So you have your 2 middle strands, which is obviously going to be your white strand. And with the left strand of the 2, you are going to do backward knots along all of your strings to the left of it to bring it to the left side. And then come back to the middle, pick up your other white strand, and this time you will do forward knots across all of the strings to the right of it to bring it to the right side. Now we're going to come back to our newest middle 2 strands, which will be our black strand. And this is just like before up here, but we're repeating it again so that we can do the color swap for the next diamond. But you'll take your 2 middle strands and tie a forward knot. And then with the left strand of the 2, you will just do backward knots onto the next 4 strings to the left of it, which will only be your left side color. And then you'll come back to your other black strand that is in the middle and do forward knots onto the next 4 strands to the right of it, which will only be your right side color. And now we are going to swap everything for this next diamond, so that way we can have our left side color sort of surround the right side. So you are going to take your left strand of your middle 2, which will be your left color, and you are going to do forward knots onto the next 3 strands to the left of it, and then on the 4th strand you will do a forward backward knot. And then you will pick up the next left colored strand that is closest to the middle, do a forward knot onto the string to the right of it. Put that string off to the side, pick up the next left side color closest to the middle, and do a forward knot again. And then with the final string on the left side, you will do a forward backward knot. And then we'll come back to the middle where we have our right side color, and we will do a backward knot onto the string to the left of it. And then we'll move down to the next right side color, do a backward forward knot onto the string to the left of it. And then we'll come back to the right side colored strand that we previously knotted with, and we will do a backward forward knot onto the string to the left of it. And then you'll take the next string in line and do a forward knot. And now we need to finish the diamond here, so you will come to the left side, pick up the left colored strand where this second strand is. You'll do a backward knot onto it. And then pick up the next strand in line that is to the right of this second strand, do another backward knot. And then we're going to come back to our left colored strand that is all the way on the right side here. And you will do backward knots onto the next 3 strands to the left of it. And then you will close up this diamond with your outermost left and right white strands, which is exactly what I showed earlier in the video. And to make that easier for you, I will put a timestamp on the screen and in the description box so that you can go back exactly where you need to follow that again. And now I am going to stop the tutorial here because when you start the video over, you can follow all of those steps exactly and work up the rest of your bracelet as many times as you need to get a full length bracelet. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I know it's a little all over the place, hopefully not too confusing for you, but when you have similar sets but doing different things, you kind of have to do extra things, and it just kind of makes it really tedious, but I hope that I still managed to make this go as smoothly as possible for you. So I really hope you enjoyed this one today, and I will see you in the next video.